remember you?
Will you remember me? For only $3 a month, you, loyal listener, can sponsor a sober podcaster. You can have access to our Patreon feed. Okay, guys. You can have access to our Patreon feed at patreon.com/worstpeople, WORSE. Every month, you'll get a mental health episode, which is us covering a movie that we like, a good movie. You'll get a newsletter talking about what's coming up and things that are going on with the show. You get access to archived episodes, and we have some other things in the works, including early access to Jack and I's Star Wars podcast, Han Took Shots First, and I have a couple other ideas in the ether.
Hopper.
Yeah. In the mix.
So, I mean, for only $3 a month, you can help fight sobriety.
Yes. For just $3 a month, you can make sure that we have beers.
No podcaster left sober. That's my initiative, and I'm taking it across the country.
And it will be every month, without fail. You will get an extra episode. And like I said, there will be more benefits to you. So please check it out. Patreon.com/worstpeople. To quote The Rock in this movie, well, that sucks. This is Rampage. I'm Derek.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jack.
This is Bad Movies,
Worst People.
This movie came out in 2018, and we're talking about it because for all the month of April, we're discussing, well, most of the month of April, we do have a special surprise for the last episode. But for most of the month of April, we're talking about kaiju and like giant monster movies in general.
We also did this movie because the name of the podcast is Bad Movies.
Well, yeah, but we're doing the theme.
Ah, gotcha.
That's why we did Godzilla last week. I'm not just on a kick making you guys watch these things.
But I mean, this could
you
just
sure?
fit. This could fit in anywhere.
Yeah,
This
this
is-
could just
Yeah,
be
it could fit
normal
anywhere.
Tuesday.
I thought it fit well here. I was going to do Cloverfield, but it's more confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the the found footage thing, you know. So, but this one, because Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire comes out this month, or I think maybe it came out at the very end of March. We're recording this in advance.
I wouldn't know.
It was supposed to be April, and I think I recently heard they moved it to March 29th. Either way, April. It's fine. Also, I'm celebrating because Godzilla -1 got an Oscar.
Golf clap.
28 movies, 70 years. Hollywood finally recognized that it doesn't suck all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did a great job. I saw clips. I did not see the movie. But I've seen clips
I
of it.
saw it with your fucking husband. We had a date, and
I
it
know.
was delightful.
It was delightful.
Yeah.
I had a date at home alone.
Yeah, anytime you want to let me borrow him to go watch a bad movie,
Anytime,
you
baby.
let me know.
But this movie came out in 2018. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Naomie something.
Yeah, it really stars Naomie something. Like you see that someone
wasn't
just
it?
gave up on the titles. Starring, I don't know, Naomie
Jeffrey
something.
Dean.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Morgan, yes, Mr. You know him as Negan.
Negan, of course.
I love him as Winchester.
Well, keep that in your brain, folks, because there's a fun little detail about that.
There is.
But who else we got here? Joe Mangelo, am I saying it right?
Yes.
Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello, I'm saying it so wrong.
And there's some other people. I mean, there's Jack Quaid and there's Marley Shelton, but I wouldn't say it stars them.
That bald dude that played White Power Dave.
Yeah, this movie is based on the Bandai Midway or Bandai Midway video game from the 80s.
What year did this come out?
This came out in 2018.
Ooh, it looked like it came out in 2011.
You know, so the CG in this, I felt like it wasn't the actual things they made didn't look that bad.
Correct.
But they didn't look like they were there.
Correct.
That's
the best way to say it, because I mean when it's just George, who's the big gorilla, the big albino gorilla.
Oh, George.
When he's on screen, it's just him and it's his face.
It looks great.
Doesn't look that bad. It's expressive, you know. It's not like a dead CGI face.
Yeah.
But then anytime The Rock or any other human is there
Interacting.
it's bad.
Yeah.
It is bad.
Or even the surroundings, like if they used a real shot of grass, like at the beginning here, when we have all the gorillas and they're in the wildlife park or whatever,
there's grass on the ground. These gorillas are walking around. Grass isn't moving.
Hey, if there's grass on the ground, let those gorillas pound. You know what I'm saying, brother?
But that's all stuff that they're like, oh, no one's going to pay attention to that.
No, I mean, I think it's just, we talked about it a bit before air. You paid a lot of money for The Rock. You paid a lot of money for this, that, the other. You didn't pay CG all that much, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent $120 million making this movie.
How much did it make?
A lot
domestically, only like 101.
Okay.
And that's North America, U.S. and Canada. But worldwide, it made like 484.
Okay.
So, or 428. Sorry, I had it written down wrong.
Derek's got a fun little fact about how busy The Rock was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at his credits from 2010 to 2021, which is 11 years. The Rock was in 28 movies.
Winnie, that's averaging over 2 movies a year, in case you don't want to pull out your calculator.
That is.
And he
Wild.
also, I mean, 2 of them were like bit parts. I mean, there was like the other guys.
Sure.
And there was the Fall Guy where he just plays like a bank robber. But like, that's more of a joke thing. But like, that still leaves 26 movies in 11 years.
And some of the ones you mentioned, I mean, he's doing work. He's in that like the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, all those Fast and Furious movies, Jumanji movies.
Pain and Gain's in there,
Pain
right?
and Gain was in there. The last good movie he made.
Hercules.
Isn't that also the last movie?
Yeah, his Hercules.
Isn't that like the last time that he was not a sexual icon in a movie?
That he wasn't clean. That he wasn't squeaky clean. What I mean by that is that in all these movies, this one included, he's not a sex symbol.
No.
Yeah, he's a great looking dude. No one's going to argue that.
But there's no lady to be won.
There's no lady to be won. He actually kind of almost spurns the advances of these 2 ladies.
Yes, he does.
I mean, at the end of this movie, him calling this girl his friend is the equivalent of having an orgasm for his character.
Yeah, and it's the sex and any kind of vice. It's like in Pain and Gain, we're watching him do a bunch of cocaine,
off a stripper's
ass,
ass,
bunch of sex, and just be insane.
And carrying a little skateboard.
Yeah, never using it. But
because it would have break.
Future episode.
It would break. You gotta use it as a skateboard. Hey, Rock, you're too big for a skateboard. You gotta break. Come on, I'm making a bigger one.
But
put you on a bicycle, maybe a tandem for one.
The director here apparently likes working with The Rock because he also directed a guy named Brad Peyton, and he directed San Andreas, which I never saw, but I saw the trailer enough that I saw the movie.
Yeah, I hear that.
And he directed Journey 2, The Mysterious Island, which I'm assuming looks like a sequel to Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah.
It sounds like it is. Yes.
I guess they were like, well, we got to move on. We can't get the star power of Will Ferrell, so we'll just bring in fucking The Rock.
Oh, is that who the first one was?
Yeah, right.
I thought it was
it was Brendan Fraser.
Brendan
Fraser.
Will Ferrell did a different one where he was doing
the
Lost Planet or the Lost something. Yeah,
Lost
You're
Highway.
Right.
Will Ferrell in
Lost Highway is a very different Lost Highway. But yeah, you're right. It was Brendan Fraser.
It was
Journey to
Brendan
the Center of the
Fraser
Earth.
and Josh Hutcherson. Hutchinson? I don't know. Pizza.
Yeah, that stupid kid from that stupid
Hunger
bird
Games?
movie.
Where everybody talking has a British accent for one word. Well, I'm hanging out with Peter later.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first one of those.
You're good.
Yeah, I probably will never watch the rest
You're good.
unless we
Challenge
have to for this.
accepted.
No.
I say unless I have to for this, but then I watched all 5 Twilight movies and it wasn't for this.
Definitely not for this. That's how I quit. I don't sparkle, man.
Oh God, it was like bad, okay,
Oh.
or no, bad, okay, worse. What the fuck was how
I
those
was
movies
thinking
went?
like Twilight Zone. I wasn't even thinking Twilight.
It's your shit.
I learned it from watching you, Mom.
Everybody knows I love trashy fantasy fiction. Is that what it is?
I guess, yeah.
You're borderline, borderline like teenage romance, but not inappropriately.
So this movie starts with a scroll, I guess, kind of, not really a scroll, but a title screen where it's telling you what CRISPR is.
It's like 2 sentences.
Yeah, CRISPR, which is a real thing. It's a genetic editing thing that they can do, which will probably lead to the end of the human race or the world as we know it. But
So that's how Krypton ended.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just making babies instead of making them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they went full
Then
on.
where's the fun in that?
They went full on Nazi Germany.
Yeah. Oh, eugenics. They actually learned that from fucking Americans.
Well, yeah, but we didn't do it. in public.
Did we not? Did we not?
We didn't tell people that we were doing it.
We didn't advertise it.
They still did it.
But yeah, so there's a little thing about that. And we cut to a space station that's on fire, and there's body parts floating around, which is pretty fun.
on fire.
And this is where we have Marley Shelton, who she was
Not
she was
Heather
Dakota
Graham.
something in
Definitely not Heather Graham.
Planet Terror. She's like the main character, kind of in Planet Terror. She plays Robert Rodriguez's kid's mom.
I'm going to say now that you spent more time trying to think about her than she was in this movie.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. She was also in Scream 4 and 5 as the sheriff.
Oh yeah. Again, not Heather Graham.
Exactly. But yeah, there's floating body parts, space station on fire.
Oh,
She's
dude,
trying
there's
to
like
rescue.
floating hands that are.
Yeah, and it's like at one
And
point there's like
bubbles
a
of blood.
severed head or like a body with a head missing and blood
Yeah.
just floating out of it. That's nice.
Yeah.
It looks like shit, but it's fun.
I thought it was going to be a different movie. I was like, oh, man, are we in for this kind of thing?
I was
Yeah.
excited.
that's where
weren't.
they had all the blood for that,
Uh-huh.
and then that scene at the end.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
I already forgot it. What do we
That's
watch?
why I have to take notes because I'll forget these
Okay,
movies.
Whitney, settle down.
Sorry, I just got here.
So there's like she gets attacked by a space rat with like quills
Yeah.
or something, and I think it's a reference to. I had to look it up on the internet, but so the Atari Lynx version of Rampage, which is Atari's handheld console that no one knew existed,
Yeah, Color Me just informed.
it had this character. It was a rat creature that destroyed the buildings. That's the
Okay.
only version that it ever existed in. So that was a joke for like 87 people who bought the Lynx.
Yeah, if you're not one of those lucky 87 that bought the Atari Mobile, you don't know about Larry the Rat.
Maybe the person that wrote this was number 7 on buying that.
Oh no, Bandai or whoever it was. I already forgot who I said made this game
I think
Midway.
so, Bandai.
No, the movie.
But whoever made the game was just like, here's a list of things that you can include that'll make people go, did you guys see that?
Actually, that's from the Atari version only, so no, I didn't see it.
That's why he was only in the movie for 5 seconds, because that's how long the Lynx was available.
Self-burn.
So she escapes the space station in a pod. There's
With
a big
the-
computer bada boom.
She's got the.
Oh, yeah, she takes
Dude,
these...
ice cold though. We don't know who it is, but as this girl's trying to get to the escape hatch, like we're not unlocking it, and ice cold voice comes through, and she's like, "Get the genetic samples, or I'm not unlocking the fucking door."
Yep.
And it's the actress's I can't remember her name.
Malin Akerman.
Malin Akerman. Dude, she is great when she's being a stone cold bitch, and I mean
She
that
is.
with love.
Yeah, she's a.
I think
she's a bitch.
Always,
She's a shrewd businesswoman type.
well, she's always playing a stone cold bitch. I mean, the only thing I know I've seen her in other stuff, but the only thing I can really think of is Watchmen. She plays Silk Spectre too. She's the comedian and Silk Spectre's daughter from a non-consensual
Yeah, that's
relationship.
very icky, sticky kind of
also,
relationship.
the comedian was played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Dun dun dun.
She's also, I mean, she's a good guy in that, but if you've seen or read The Watchmen, none of them are really that good.
She's an over-sexualized character in, what did I say, Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller.
Okay, I
And
never
it's
saw
not
that.
worth watching the movie, but she's tearing her scenes up in a good way.
I think that was well after I had clocked out of the Ben Stiller office.
As you should have.
I once dated a guy that looked like Ben Stiller.
Sorry to hear that.
He was fun.
I bet.
But was he funny?
Happy birthday, Mark. His birthday was yesterday.
So his birthday was a month ago.
Well, yeah, to them hearing this.
Real quick, because I told you guys we were going to talk about this, but I was like, I want to talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
it on air. This is being recorded a few weeks out. The Oscars were last night for us,
Yes.
and they have the in memoriam, and I am very upset. So they had Carl Weathers, they had Richard Lewis, they had Richard Roundtree, they had
They had people I didn't know.
well, they always have. It infuriates me when they forget people that I think should be there, but then they have like talent agents and shit on there. I'm like, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, you couldn't tell me one talent agent who I know.
They
I
did this
honestly
new
forgot
thing.
Tina Turner passed away.
They did this new thing now though, where they had Paul Rubens on there, of
Yeah.
course. But they did this new thing, or at least I don't remember it in the past, at the end where they just have a screen full of names. And it's all the people they didn't show in the slow motion songs. Treat Williams was mentioned in the screen with the other 100 names, and it was like the second to last name on the screen. Because we were watching, and both of us were just like, where is Treat Williams?
Was it in last name alphabetical order?
I don't. Maybe
Because that would make sense why he's second to last.
It could have been. I didn't recognize most of the names. I was scanning real fast because it's a list with like 100 names and it's on the screen for 8 seconds.
Was the last
Zimbabwe?
name like Zoltar?
I don't know. I just saw Treat Williams and I was like, well, at least his name is up there.
Yeah, he
But
deserves
he got
a slide,
shafted
though.
by the fucking
Yeah, fuck
Academy.
you, Academy.
This show won't fucking forget him,
no.
No.
We did a whole month about him.
and I will do it next year.
This year?
Yeah. I said we can't find 4 horror movies with Treat Williams.
No.
We'll have to do something else.
Yeah.
We won't do a Trick or Treat Williams this year, but we'll sprinkle some treats. We'll give you guys some treats throughout the year.
I'm in.
But so we go down to Earth, or she's in the ship and she crashes and it burns up in the atmosphere. And the little genetic samples she grabbed are the only thing that can survive in
These canisters of ooze, dude.
Yeah.
Vapors.
It's vaporized ooze.
It's giving this gorilla the vapors.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Gorillas.
Wolves and wings.
Oh, God. It's just scary.
We go down to Earth, and The Rock and Jack Quaid and some other people are traipsing through this forest.
Fucking Nelson. His
Nelson, the nerdy nerd?
nerdy nerd. He's a character actor. He's in a lot of things. And he's
Yeah,
always
can you give me one?
No.
No, that's
Okay.
the thing.
Not off the
PJ something.
Because I definitely recognize him. I was like, I guarantee if I go through his IMDb, it's going to be like 300 entries
Yeah.
of just TV show one episode.
But he's always giving his all every time he's in
I didn't
it.
bother
Yeah.
going through his
Fucking love
IMDb
him.
because him, Jack Quaid, and the other girl here are in this movie for
5 seconds.
15 minutes of the 107-minute runtime. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, but as they're walking through, though, I don't know if you guys got it. I thought they were going to be somewhere completely different. They're going through like
they're
dense
walking through a
jungle. You got Jack Quaid talking about. I've been to Uganda. Have you ever seen Blood Diamond, dude? I've fought poachers.
Oh,
I've
like
fought
the
this.
Lion King.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they just come through and he's like, "Welcome to San Diego."
Yeah.
What?
They're in like a San Diego wildlife preserve.
Yeah,
I'm like, I
sanctuary.
don't think you can have like tropical jungles in San Diego. I mean, it's humid, but it's not that kind of weather.
But yeah, just like, dude, just in the middle of San Diego, dense jungle with freaking gorilla habitat.
Yeah, and they come upon the gorillas, and
They're introducing another young male gorilla to the family,
yeah,
and he
Pablo?
doesn't Pavo.
Yeah,
P-A-A-V-O.
it was Pablo. Don't question Earth names. Take it back.
Parvo.
And this is a fun scene though, because he's like, everybody's don't move, because out comes George, this beautiful albino gorilla.
Well, and who moves though? Fucking
Quaid.
This guy that's got these fake stories.
Yep.
And I just like, you don't like him already, and I thought he's gonna be in this movie longer, and
like,
you're gonna fuck something up.
You're gonna
Yep.
die.
This movie is gonna be your fault, isn't it? I didn't think he's gonna die. I just thought you're gonna be that guy. It's like, hey, whatever you do, don't touch anything. Bloop! I just armed a bomb. What is
He's the Kevin J.
Oh,
O'Connor
right?
of this movie.
Yes, that's what I thought he was gonna be.
And then freaking George sees him run and then does his like roar, brr, 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 brr.
Pavo tries to attack him, and George rescues
Yes.
him. So we can see that George, the great white ape from Congo, is a good guy now.
Amy good.
Ugly gorilla.
But
Kong.
there is a funny part. Like, The Rock is talking George down because he's doing his signing.
He's
and
doing the
whatnot.
sign language, yeah.
And George is like full fucking rage mode, seemingly.
Yeah, and he calms him down, and then George starts laughing, and he's like, it's funny, I was fucking with you guys, and he gives The Rock the middle finger. Anytime a monkey gives a human a middle finger, I'm in.
I liked it,
Even if it's a
hilarious.
computer monkey.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Anybody giving The Rock the middle finger ups it a little bit more too, I think.
But when The Rock is leaving this sanctuary to go home for the night, the blonde girl that's hanging out with them comes up to him, and this is the most sexual this movie gets, aside from some pantomiming at the end. She comes up and she's like, I'd love to learn more about those submission techniques. I'm like, yeah, I bet you fucking would.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
But
You
The
know
Rock
what?
is like, no, female love does not interest me. I must go home and be alone.
And masturbate. He's like, just stay calm.
Keep it in your pants. All right.
No, he
You know
tells
what?
her, just stay calm.
I bet The
That's
He
the
Rock.
secret.
does the monkey calming on her. He's like, you're good. I don't know how to do good. I'm just
He
making
says you're okay.
You're okay. I bet The Rock is submissive.
You think so?
Yeah, because he's dominant everywhere else in life.
Okay.
He likes to get pegged.
He needs somewhere. He needs someone like step on his cubes, spit down his throat.
I don't think he's that submissive. I think that he
Gets peed on.
He's a very tender lover.
Yeah, I
Speak
think
from experience.
he doesn't have sex. He makes love.
Oh God,
That's what
you
I
just made
think
it
he does.
boring. Move on. You ruined pillow talk.
So at nighttime, the little CRISPR sample thing falls into the gorilla enclosement.
In gorilla enclosement,
And then-
CRISPR
Wyoming,
sample?
and what a lake in Louisiana,
Something like that.
Florida.
CRISPR sample. I think I had those at Costco. Little rice cakes.
Yeah, a little angry old
delicious.
lady was handing them out, and there was another old
Throwing
lady.
them at your
There
faces.
was another old
Eat
lady
this.
who was trying to eat it, but her cart was sideways in the middle of the aisle, and you couldn't get past her.
You were there the same day I was then.
Every
Did it
day?
end in a Y?
Every day.
George gets sprayed with green smoke.
A fart.
Joker gas.
Yeah, Joker gas, as does a wolf and a crocodile.
A crocodile, a wolf, and a gorilla walk into a bar.
And only one of them walks out.
So now we're set up for the Rampage video game, right? You got
Yeah.
George, you got Ralph, the wolf, and you've got Lizzie, the lizard. So George is an ape.
A gorilla.
Okay, but yeah, an ape. Right?
He's simian.
Ralph is a wolf,
Uh-huh.
but they have to use Lizzie for the lizard. Come on.
Yeah. Like
They
you got
never- they-
real.
They
you
couldn't
got-
say Leonard.
Well, it was a female character because they were giving you one
Lisa?
female.
but you don't even have
anything.
to alliterate though. George the
G.
George
Gorilla.
is a gorilla, but
Ralph-
Ralph,
Did start with an R.
yeah.
he's a
like,
he's a Rolf.
he's a Rolf.
He's like Rolf.
Like you don't
from,
have
the
to
Muppets.
alliterate, but Lizzie is just so lazy.
Yeah, lazy Lizzie.
Lazy Lizzie lizard. I would love to lick
I
a
mean-
lemon lollipop and lollipop.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Exactly that. So then we cut to the morning. The Rock is rushing back, parking like an asshole, but it's because something's wrong with George.
Yep.
And
he's-
George murdered a grizzly bear.
It's one of my least favorite things, dude. When someone's like, "What?" When the Rock's like, "What happened?" He's like, "You just got to see." I'm like, "No, brief me a little."
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a warning. Am I walking into?
Am I going to see a
presumably
dead body?
Am I
Just
walking
guess what
into
you are.
presumably my best friend with a hole in his chest?
Right?
Yeah. And turns out all it is a fucking grizzly bear that's neck snapped. It's all mutilated. That's easy to see.
Okay. Also, so they're like grizzly bear is the greatest predator. And da 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 da. I feel like a gorilla could
So it
kill
said-
a grizzly bear.
It said a grizzly bear is the most powerful,
Terrestrial predator.
not territorial.
He said terrestrial. I think it means. I think by that he didn't mean of Earth. I think he meant on land,
Oh, okay.
like not a shark
Like a
or
terra.
whatever.
Gotcha.
A
yeah.
terra, as in.
And
But, like-
I don't know, man. Derek posed that earlier. I would watch a gorilla and a grizzly go at it on like a CG form only.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think a gorilla could take. I mean, I guess it depends on how big it is and stuff. But he's the alpha. He's
Yes.
Right.
before he starts
He's king.
changing. He's already like a large like silverback gorilla, and that's
Just
not a
white.
reference to him being albino. Like he's the
Yeah.
big angry gorilla.
I guess it just if that grizzly gets his jaws on you, I think you're kind of done.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing. Is I'm like gorillas have longer arms and more agility.
They can hug you to death.
He could easily take that grizzly because grizzlies have little T-Rex arms.
No, they ain't that little.
I don't know if a grizzly could pick its own nose.
You've seen.
Oh, it can.
I mean, I've been in a campsite that
Does
was
it with
attacked
its
by
tongue.
grizzlies. That's all I know about them.
All right.
My campsite was attacked by them.
It's a good field of
It wasn't
expertise.
attacked. It was checked out and foraged. It wasn't attacked.
There
They
were claw
wanted-
marks on the cooler because that gorilla knew how to open a cooler.
Yeah, he didn't
It's
attack
back
it.
when they
had
He
the-
was foraging.
Sorry, grizzly.
That camping trip got drastically changed all of a sudden. Of course a gorilla knows how to open a cooler. It didn't go through yours because you had fucking like really good beer and it was looking for some PBR.
You know, we had the coolers that just had like you had the little pull tab thing and it would loosen the top. It wasn't
Yeah.
like now where they have like the rubber straps and
You
shit
were
on
going
it.
with an
Also, why
igloo.
did you put the shit up in a tree?
It
You don't
was-
put the coolers up in
Oh.
a tree.
the cooler was up in
Was
the
it
tree.
high
That's
enough?
crazy.
It was my dad tied it in a rope and put it up in the tree. The bears took it down.
Oh,
And then they like
They kn-
clawed,
you had Yogi
they
and
clawed the
Boo Boo?
cooler. So these bears are, or probably aren't anymore, but were well known, I guess, as like the park
Yogi
rangers.
and Boo Boo.
There's
the park-
something
yeah.
he's not telling
No,
us.
the park rangers told my dad
that they kept taking. It's a mother and her son. And they kept taking them off the mountain where people camp and moving them to another mountain.
There's something
range.
Derek's
Oh,
not
and they
telling
would
us
travel.
about
That's
this.
right. They would. I do remember
Something he's
that
not
story.
telling us about this story.
No.
They were the Chicago Bears, and they always go through people's cooler for beer.
The Bears.
They're very well known around these parts. Of course they are.
Well, that's what woke me up in the middle of the night. I could hear them doing the Super Bowl shuffle outside.
What's that noise? I think it's a Super Bowl shuffle. Shh! Don't say a word. There's bears in here.
Dad, what's outside? The Bears.
Stop bears.
The Bears. That's actually one of my favorite football teams, so
All right.
I'm okay with that.
That whole thing we just did was stupid, and I loved it.
I loved every second of it.
So George is getting bigger because he comes out of this cave and he's now like 9 feet tall instead of 7 feet tall, which should okay.
2 feet.
Show me a difference as a
2
fucking
feet
6 foot
and-
tall human being.
Yeah.
2 feet and 500 pounds.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, what's the difference between 7 and 9 feet when I'm already a 6 foot tall human being?
I'm
Yeah.
still on the ground shitting my pants.
Yeah.
That thing's coming at me. Either way, I'm dying before it reaches
But
me.
You're
he
only-
keeps saying he's scared. He's signing he's scared.
Yeah.
He's saying he hurt me first. He scared me.
And
he hurt me first.
you know, it kind of feels like, and I mean, I get what they're going for, but like this movie treats like it's like, okay, the gorilla is like the intelligent one. It can speak and it can do
Yes.
these things, so you feel sympathy. But the wolf and the crocodile, they're just like, oh well, wolves and crocodiles are just evil beasts.
Oh,
Fuck
yeah.
them.
No, they're just dumb.
Because like you're not supposed to feel sympathy for the wolf when it gets its head consumed.
No.
Spoiler alerts.
It's fine. Like, you know what I mean? But you're supposed to feel sympathy for George.
I took it more they were setting it up that he's going to be able to be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
You know,
and
where it's like, no,
you were
you
exactly right.
You two are mindless, but we got George over here.
George
He's-
has been raised literally with humans since he was a babby.
And that wolf was raised by wolves. I mean, I don't know if you know the saying.
Have you ever been raised by wolves?
Kind of. No. My
Yeah,
parents
I
aren't
kinda
I'm
wolves.
gonna tell your mom you said that.
But
I'm calling her right
yeah,
now.
the Rock rescued George when he was a pup. I don't know what baby gorillas are
It's
called.
a baby.
Because poachers were killing his whole family.
Yeah, they cut his mother's hands off in front of him.
I don't know what else they use for gorillas. Like I know, like maybe the fur and you tag, but like I know one of the big thing with poachers. Obviously, you're not hunting and using all the good parts. Like a
Right.
That's
You're
not what
poaching.
poachers do.
like yeah, exactly. Like poaching is the opposite of that. They would cut off hands and turn them into ashtrays. That was
Yeah.
just a tragic fact I learned when I was
what
like
about-
6 years old. And I was like, well, I'm gonna hold on to that the rest of my life.
Yeah, you told us that, and then 40 minutes later in this movie, they're like, that's what The Rock said. Like, they were taking her hands to use for ashtrays. And I was like, ugh.
And that was
Yeah.
it. Like they didn't skin her, they didn't take the meat, they didn't
I bet you they pulled some teeth. Like there's things you're gonna take,
Yeah.
but not.
And then use the body
Not
as
that you're
bait
gonna-
or
No, you leave it. That's the thing with
we're
poachers. Like
just feeding the wildlife now.
look at early American settlers of buffalo. I mean, just take the hide, leave the rest. Take the hide, leave. Also they took the tongue, because they would. Oh, this is so weird. Buffalo tongue could dehydrate and be a hairbrush.
That makes sense.
It's a weird.
Think of a cat tongue and how it has like barbs on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dehydrated
but
cat tongue,
I
you'd
think
have a little
Derek's
Barbie brush.
response is correct because I had the same thing. I was like, "What?" Makes sense, does it?
You know what else? You know what else could make a comb? Wood.
Oh, then you get splinters
Yeah.
in your hair.
No, get some good beech wood, sand it down, you put a little lacquer on it. Baby, you got a comb going.
Baby, you don't got lacquer when you're
I got a wood
killing
comb in my bathroom right now.
buffalo. For
Oh, they had lacquer. They had resin.
Look, they could have just killed some elephants and used the ivory like a normal poacher.
no.
All right. Okay.
I'm not condoning any poaching.
No,
by the way.
nobody here does.
I married a worse person.
And then we meet our villains, Malin Akerman and a guy named Jake Lacey playing Claire and Brett, who I guess
Only-
are siblings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who
They are
own
siblings.
Energine, which is a worse name than the name of the company from the video game, which was Scum Labs.
Yeah. if you have it at Scum Labs, you know what you're in. Like, you know what they do there.
But they are the owners of the company, and all they're talking about when they hear about George, because all they know about at this point is George, is they're talking about
No, they know about
well, they
Wyoming.
know about the wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Nobody
know about
knows about the
Wyoming.
crocodile yet.
because
Yeah.
they're like, we're sending in, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't remember his name. Brad
Joe Manganiello, Burke.
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 Sending in Burke.
I was
Who's
going to
Burke?
say Bork.
Burke is Bork is what we say for her.
So you were closer.
And then
We're
Brad's
sending
like,
in Burke to get the Bork.
who's Burke? And she's like, Burke is who you send in to clean up the mess.
Oh, no,
She
there was a
says- she
really
says,
bad
do you
line.
Remember
Yeah.
that? Do you remember the private military company we acquired last year?
That you
and you were
called-
calling them Killers Are Us? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, he's the us. And I'm
It's
like,
a
Yeah.
stupid line.
what?
It
You
is.
should have said he's the
Killers?
killer.
Yeah, like
Us is the rest of it.
yeah, he's the us.
Drop that line.
Yeah. This,
By the
Rewrite.
way, the brother, just anybody that's a fan of The Office, he plays Pete in the later season of The Office.
Is that
AKA
when Carell
Plop.
goes?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
post Carell.
Okay.
For sure.
Never
So
saw it.
I'm not faulting anybody for not seeing it.
yeah, I haven't watched a lot of The Office, but I've only seen Steve Carell era.
I think I watch it once a year now.
Sharks of the corn? Virus shark? Cocaine shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
Listen to your buddies from Bad Movies, Worst People talking with Steve about Shark Exorcists on his podcast Bucket of Chum in early May. Hey guys, after this episode, I really kind of want to go out and get a beer. What are you thinking?
I mean, okay, look, the thing is, I deal with beer so much in my life. I want something else. I'm fine with beer, but I want like a stiff cocktail or a nice glass of whiskey.
You know, the music box is just down the way, and you can get an awesome cocktail, and they even have like Tombstone and other great beers on tap.
The music box, where would I find that?
Oh, you mean the music box at 6951 East 22nd Street in
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona.
Right down there at 22nd and Cole.
Yeah, they've got a great selection of whiskey, gin, tequila, mezcal, other spirits.
Ooh, sometimes they have like pudding shots and Jello shots.
You're putting me on.
And depending on the night of the week, we can get karaoke, live music. It's great.
Ooh, on happy hour it's Wednesday. It's on happy hour.
Yeah.
I'm in. You guys are selling me.
Let's go to the Music Box Lounge right
Woo!
now.
Let's go.
But yeah, so they're the evil science people who own Energine, and they're sending Burke to Wyoming. That's where we meet Joe Manganiello, who's I didn't write down anything he's been in, so I can't tell you guys. I know him because he's a huge D&D guy.
Yeah.
He
And I mean
Flash
that more than
Thompson.
one way.
He was in Magic Mike.
Oh, yeah,
He
that
was
makes
Flash
sense.
Thompson.
Oh, that's right. He
in
was
the Tobey
Flash
Maguire.
Thompson, yeah.
He was also Alcide in True Blood.
I never watched
okay,
that.
we
He
got
was the head werewolf.
We got Flash Thompson for the boy nerds, and we got Magic Mike for the ladies like me.
And we got True Blood for everybody.
You know what? I've never
I
seen.
never saw True Blood.
I've
You don't
never
need
seen
to.
any of the Magic Mikes, but now that I know that Joe Manganiello's
He's
in,
in
there
the first
stripping,
one?
I might have to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
The
in
first
the first
one
one.
is a Soderbergh movie.
But
I've
he
heard
is
it's
a
really
huge
good.
D&D
It is really
guy in the sense that is like his jam is his. I've seen his house where he has a
Yeah,
room
he has
He has a
a,
whole
he has a
room.
literal like dungeon
Dungeon.
in his house that has a huge like banquet table.
It's a nerdgasm.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's decorated like a medieval dungeon, and
You got
they
wrought
sit
iron
down there.
wall sconces,
Joe, we will
chandeliers.
bring the
He
liquor.
sits down
Invite
there and
us.
plays fucking D&D with celebrities. I'm like, the fuck are you famous for?
Yeah.
They just really like D&D?
I want to get Joe. I want to get Henry, and then I'll get my husband, and I'll just be the fourth, and we'll play D&D.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
I thought she
she
was
does want to
pitching
do role
orgy.
playing, but she doesn't want to play D&D.
D&D is Dick and Derek. I'm gonna have some Derek and some Dick.
You may not be wrong.
And I'm just sitting in a chair in the corner smoking cigarettes.
Golf clapping.
I'll be looking back. You like that?
So
A cigarette lights up.
they go to Wyoming and they're looking for the wolf. I found the name of the girl, by the way. I feel bad for not remembering the beginning. Naomie Harris is the actress's name, who plays Dr. Kate Caldwell.
Oh my God, she's beautiful.
She was in the biggest thing I know her from. I mean, the thing I know her from at all is she was in 28 Days Later.
Okay.
We were looking at the timing of that. 28 Days Later was 2002. Walking Dead was 2003.
The comic
She's
of Walking
the
Dead.
comic of Walking Dead. Yeah, she's obviously a black woman as she is in this movie because that doesn't change, and she's walking.
Not unless she's in Short Circuit.
Oh.
But she's walking around in 28 Days Later at a certain point with like a sword.
So it's funny
So,
that a year before Walking
Robert
Dead, the
Kirkman,
comics,
yeah.
you got a black chick fighting zombies with a sword, and then a year later you get Michonne.
Yeah, Robert
I get
Kirkman watched 28 Days Later and was like, "That's pretty fucking cool."
That's dope. That's dope.
But she was a geneticist with an Energine, which we find out she is a former geneticist. But that's not what she tells The Rock and all the zoo people.
She's
when
like,
she
I can
meets
help
them.
you. I can make you a thing.
Just so you know, this plot was so stupid.
It
We
was.
were just, as it was going, we're saying what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, no.
How many times did that happen? Like 7?
It was insane.
We paused it halfway through the movie for whatever reason, and I was like, "Do we need to finish this? Like, we know what's gonna happen, right?" Like,
It was to make drinks, by the way.
is that what it was? That's
know
right. I had
why
to
he
get
paused
whiskey.
it, Yeah.
Because I got halfway through the movie and I was like, "Who needs whiskey?"
Yeah.
Me.
Everybody.
So she goes to the zoo or the wildlife, whatever, and she's telling them like she made a better version of CRISPR where you could do more stuff at once, and she knows how to cure George and all this stuff. George suddenly loses his shit because this is making him more aggressive too, is one of the traits.
Well, and he's also
Yes.
starving.
He is starving.
he is starving. They're supposed to
So
be getting
this
him
is
food,
an ultimate hanger.
but he takes a concrete bench out of the ground and throws it through this wall and knocks this cage in half.
Yes, he does.
And escapes the zoo and gets he goes out and the cops arrive and the Rock is like, "Oh fuck, man, these cops are gonna make everything worse,
Put
right?"
your goddamn guns down.
I did laugh though because the Rock talks the cops out of shooting this giant monkey, and while we were watching it, I was like, "Well, that's only because he's a white gorilla."
Did you recognize one of these cops?
This is like
If it's a black gorilla, he is getting unloaded on.
These
I'm
are
sorry.
California police, so
Yeah.
they pull up and it's a giant
Yeah.
angry black gorilla.
They're not too far from L.A.
Yeah,
one
exactly.
one of the cops I've actually seen in multiple things, and this one he didn't really. His only line was "stand down."
Oh, I didn't
But
recognize that cat.
I've seen him portray a cop in other things. I'm sure it's just like TV shows that I watch or whatever. But they actually got somebody that's like, oh,
I mean, I
it's that
bet that's a
guy.
thing when you're an extra. Like they look at your profile, like, okay, so he knows the lingo.
Yeah.
He knows how to handle a firearm and have
So typecast.
muzzle awareness, trigger control. Yeah.
He looks like a
Okay.
cop,
Yeah,
He looks at
He
co-op.
did look like a co-op.
a fucking co-op.
He's a fucking co-op. Look at him.
So a chopper comes in and ends up tranking George and taking him down.
Which I thought this was part of Burke's group.
I did not.
I thought
When
it
the
was
chopper first arrived, that's what I thought too.
because I don't think either we didn't know they were going to the wolf
no,
first.
we knew she was like
he said they were going to Wyoming.
only to
Okay.
Wyoming.
So then I thought this was an extension of Burke's group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's not even the cops. It's unnamed. What were we calling it? TLA.
TLA,
It was-
which is 3-letter acronym, because that's all they are.
No,
Yeah.
he says we are an OGA, another government agency.
Right.
Yeah, but
Other
we were
government
saying
agency.
something during the movie
Oh.
about I work for the TLA, 3-letter acronym.
Because it's all it is: FBI, CIA, OTA,
Yeah.
DEA,
OGA.
NSA.
ATF.
Yeah.
They had to add the bullshit to the ATF.
He does have a stupid joke at some point where Naomie Harris asks him what agency he really works for, and he says, "Well, we'll just call it the Justice League." And while I was scrolling through the trivia on this, which was useless, by the way, there was no trivia in the
She
trivia.
asked if it was Justice League, and he says OGA.
Okay, well, either way, somebody in the trivia was like, "A fun fact is that most of these characters have been in superhero movies," and I was like, "This isn't trivia.
That's
Get
no,
the fuck out of here."
No, that's red yarn.
Someone, IMDb needs to hire a person to just comb through trivia and be like, delete, delete, delete.
Uh-huh.
Are you applying for that position?
Yeah.
You know what? Let people thumbs it up or thumbs it down.
I'm a bartender. I listen to stupid shit all day. If I was getting paid more to sit and do it on a computer and not have to talk to people,
You're not wrong.
Sign me up.
Look at this. Listen here, IMDb. We got you.
They aren't listening.
we cut back to Wyoming. They're hunting down Ralph, who we don't know his name is Ralph yet, but he is the giant wolf.
Joe even says like those internet weirdos named him Ralph.
Yeah.
That's how we get the name Ralph.
And
Internet
they
weirdos,
think
you
they
hear
killed
that?
him, so fucking internet weirdos.
Shots fired at internet.
They think they killed him, so they land. Bad idea. And Ralph ends up eating his whole team. And then at one point, the helicopter comes down and starts blasting this giant wolf. I mean, this thing is 20 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
It's a big wolf. It starts blasting him. This wolf jumps up and eats a helicopter.
Yes. There's one point.
Great fucking up snacks on it.
There's one point. Jack is like, "Is that a squirrel? Did I
Because
just?"
it made like this weird maneuver where like
It like flew.
yeah, but it could have just been a big case of the zoomies.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's the
catch
world's
that
largest
first
case of the
time.
zoomies.
It
Yeah.
is. Oh, she would have. You've seen this one fly.
Imagine if these dogs had wings.
So Ralph eats the helicopter and then proceeds to eat Joe Manganiello. And he is out of this fucking movie.
Yeah. Chomps down on him good too.
Yeah.
I thought he's gonna have like a last stand, like I ain't going down without a fight. Pulls a grenade or something,
No,
but
he like triggers the gun. He puts it. He flips
No, he's
it
saying
to
what he
fully
thought would
automatic.
happen.
oh yeah, no, I thought he was gonna like, if it's me and I'm that character, I'm gonna cook a grenade in my hand and I'm going out like that because I don't want to
Like
be
Deep
digested.
Rising.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also don't want to be digested for 1,000 years. Pit of Carcoon.
I don't think this wolf lives in or is the Pit of Carcoon.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be, dude. We don't see what's under that sand.
We do eventually in the Book of Boba Friend.
This is not
True,
Star
we do.
Wars.
Book of Boba Friend. I like that. It's always about Star Wars. I'm awake, aren't I?
So
You're not wrong.
then we
Are
meet.
you?
Then we actually meet Jeffrey Dean Morgan doing his best Tommy Lee Jones impersonation.
Oh my goodness. This is where I geek out and I'm just like, whoo. Hi.
And I
He's-
didn't realize. So he's carrying this gun as a M1911 A1.
Colt
something.
1911, yeah.
Pearl
So
handle.
the gun he's carrying, and I'm surprised you didn't call this
No,
out.
I knew it.
You're the Supernatural fan. Okay, you
Yeah.
didn't say it.
No, I didn't say
That's
it.
the gun from Supernatural.
Yeah.
Because both Jack and I were like, so when is he using this gun? Like, you don't have this gun in this movie and not use it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. This is
Ask fucking Chekhov. But like,
So let me ask you this, though, Whitney. Is that belt buckle just for this, or is that a Winchester thing?
Winchester thing also.
The whole rig.
Yes.
So I still think that he walked off set one day pulling double duty, and the director of this movie's like, yes, character choice, keep it.
Funny thing, he is not in very many episodes of Supernatural.
Uh-huh.
He is talked about for an entire
He's
season.
the dad. I
He's the
know. I
dad.
know parts of it.
He's probably in maybe 10 episodes of a 15 episode or 15 season.
Does the same thing with
series.
Walking Dead.
He's like in and out.
he's one of the most
in and
important
out.
characters.
And like that gun was definitely in the first 2 episodes. It's the only gun that can kill a demon on shot. Like,
Dope.
well, then
on
why
sight.
wasn't he using it against these demons?
Yeah, no shit,
Yeah,
dude.
no, it's I can't remember the gun's name. Sorry, guys. I know I'm an asshole. It has a name,
All right.
and there's only 6 bullets, like 6 special bullets that work for this gun,
Uh-huh.
and those are the demon killing
Oh,
bullets.
that's why he didn't use it.
So,
He's out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I saw that gun and I was like,
It's just for show. Yeah, it's a beautiful gun, man.
yeah, wait.
saw that gun
Dude,
and
the
you turned
barrel
into
is
Santa
actually
Claus?
this long.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, I mean,
a 7-inch.
45, 1911 is one of my favorite weapons ever.
It's a beautiful with that
Especially
pearl
the
handle.
Colt 1911.
Yes.
I would opt for the walnut myself.
Doesn't he have a spin-off Walking Dead series too?
Yeah.
Are they all those spin-offs just like 6 episodes or?
I don't know. I know I think I texted you. I watched the Daryl one, and I was mad when it was over. I'm like, this was pointless.
Yeah, didn't you said it was basically like it starts and ends and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
You just watch 6 episodes of nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, or does something happen and everything's undone or what? It doesn't matter.
Kind of like that, where like everything you're built. Let's just say like my entire movie is set around trying to get you to escape the city, and we finally get there. You're like, no, I'm gonna stay with you. Like what? No.
Kurt Russell did not stay in New York. Okay, he escaped from New York.
Yeah, and then he escaped from L.A.
Did you make me watch that one or no?
Escape from New York? Yes. Escape from LA? No.
That's the one I was
That's a
asking
good
about.
man
I
right there,
remember
by the
Escape
way.
from New York.
That's relationship goals.
You know, I've been hearing some stuff recently that people are reconsidering Escape from LA.
That's because the shit that comes out now is just so trash.
Oh, okay. I've only seen it once. I remember watching it, and I was like, all I remember from that entire movie is Kurt Russell surfing in the LA River while being pursued by sharks.
Why did I know that was a sentence that it was going to come
I
out of your
remember him playing basketball to save his life.
face? Where are we now?
I mean, there's not a lot of actual plot to talk about. We can't describe smashing of buildings very well. So I know we've been preambling.
So yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's there. He's doing this weird Southern accent. He does just sound like Tommy Lee Jones in half of Tommy Lee Jones's movies.
A lot of it does sound like Negan.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it has that Southern just. I mean, I don't.
The way he stands, the way he like leans back when he's talking to you.
I don't know if I really dig it, or if it's that I was about to fall asleep and then he came on screen, and all of a sudden I had something to do.
I mean, he does
Isn't
have
he a
more
beautiful
presence.
specimen
at
to
least.
look at?
great.
He has more
Sorry.
presence at least.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't make the movie better because it's a bad script, but like when he's on the screen, you're like, okay, I'm watching someone do something.
He definitely did not mail this in, and he could have for his check.
yeah.
I mean,
everyone
yeah.
else did.
Yeah.
So, so Energine sends out like a signal from their building to call the animals there because they're going to capture them and take their genomes to something.
So here's her plan: the gorilla's gonna crash in the plane and die, which doesn't happen.
Correct.
They don't know about Lizzie, so they think the wolf is going to come to town. The military will take it out easy peasy.
Yeah.
We'll collect a sample.
Yep.
That's her
Okay.
plan.
And that's why she's setting off this fucking beacon.
The plot device to get the animals to climb the building.
And we'll just take
Yeah.
their DNA and everybody will clean up our mess for us.
This is going to be easy, dude. I think we have a foolproof plan, Whitney.
foolproof.
You know what I mean? Like, these genetically enhanced monsters are going to do exactly what we think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hit the signal.
So George breaks loose from in the plane that they're transporting him in, and like this plane starts going down, and
And
he's tossing people around and whatever.
They've also told Dean that that's not
like how you
enough
went with his
sedative.
middle name.
Well, because that's how I remember him. Because his first son was Dean, and he was named after him. Anyways,
Oh, okay.
that is actually why Dean was named Dean, because that was his middle name and that was his first. Anyways, so this is not a supernatural podcast. But
it won't be.
The Rock and Pretty Girl Naomie. What was
Harris.
her name?
Naomie Harris.
The Rock and Kate are like,
Kate
that
Caldwell.
is not enough sedative for this thing. Oh, we took care of it. We're factoring in like this growth and everything. Like, still not enough. You're not going to be happy.
But
He's going to take this plane down.
He kind of described it in a way that I thought it would be enough and should be enough. He's like, we took
Until-
all that into consideration. This noise just supersedes all that.
Yeah,
like
the
this,
signal
Probably, yeah.
just pushes through.
this is like your morning alarm clock. Doesn't
It
matter how
does-
drunk you are, that thing is gonna fucking rouse you.
Apparently not me yesterday.
Oh.
But it
Wrong
even-
alarm clock, dude.
it does show like his hair stand on end and his ears start to twitch. And I think that was a nice nod to, hey, you know what? This is happening.
Something else that happens is once he gets out, the Rock is there and he's like, hey, George. And you see his face go calm and his eyes go blue.
Yep.
But then it snaps right back to snarl.
Because
and it's
of
like
this-
he's losing it. Like
Yeah.
it does a decent job of showing that.
Yes, and I agree with that.
I can't believe I just defended this movie.
the
even
I
the
know.
physics
slightest.
of this scene don't make any sense though. So the plane is going down. So obviously the Rock and Kate are like
Hold
flying
on, you're
upward.
underselling it. The plane is in a nosedive straight down. It's not gradually going
no,
down.
it's going
Yeah,
straight
It
down.
is
Half the
fucking-
plane is missing. But like it's falling down, but the Rock is grabbing these parachutes. First of all, he takes these parachutes out. They don't show anybody put them on.
Yeah, they
How
do.
would you put them on?
Well,
Yeah,
it
they
shows him put Jeffrey Dean Morgan's on.
It shows her doing it because I was like, oh, she knows how to hold on and like throw shit.
but like
over her
when
shoulders.
he's like hanging from the air because obviously they have like wires on his feet holding him up,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
he's hanging from the air like he's falling. When he picks up this parachute, it's not. It would be also flying backward.
That's
it would be
very
trying to
he's
true.
go up
got
in the
big
air.
muscles and he's
Those
just,
are big arms.
Those are
dude.
big arms, but which we'll get to. But like, it's not even like flapping in the wind or anything.
Oh,
it's like
you're
like
right.
he's just holding it like he's just sitting in a room with a parachute in
Look,
his hand.
we've all seen a bunch of action movies, Mission Impossibles. The best plan is to put the parachute on outside of the airplane. Just hold it like a little baby, jump out, and put it on with ease.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
move.
They did that in Point Break.
They did that in so
They
many
did.
things. It seems so easy.
But he does make a point to put it out on the now knocked out, concussed Dean. Fuck.
Yeah,
Harvey.
Harvey Russell is
Yeah.
is the character's
Harvey.
name. Agent Harvey Russell.
That's not my drink. That belongs to Harvey.
And so he's like struggling to get his hand untied from something and gets him
Cargo
out of
net.
the plane. And he jumps out. And
It looks really bad.
It looks
does.
terrible, but there is a somewhat funny moment because Jeffrey Dean Morgan comes to as he's plummeting
What
to
the
his death,
fuck?
and he's just like, "Holy shit!"
Is this the only cursing in the movie, or we have a couple more?
We get
there's
shit
there's
a
a couple
couple
of
times.
shits.
Okay.
This movie is only PG-13.
Okay,
so.
wait, no, do we do any fucks?
I don't think
I don't
we do
think
get
there's
a
a
fuck.
fuck.
All right.
I mean, at the end we get a sign
I mean,
language
there's
fuck.
kinda.
A pantomime.
But yeah, he's like, "Holy shit!" And the Rock's basically just like, "Yeah, you're welcome," and like puts out his chute, and he's like,
Yep.
"Figure the rest out yourself."
Bye.
So that was fun.
So they parachute down.
Plane
There is another
crashes.
kind of funny line between the two of them because the Rock tells him like he thanks the Rock for saving him.
Well, this
And
is
he's
after
like,
they land.
Yeah, and he thanks
Well-
the Rock for saving him, and he's like, "Hey, even assholes deserve a second chance." And that's when Jeffrey Dean Morgan's like, "Well, like my grandpappy said, us assholes got to stick together."
Yep.
And he is doing a higher pitch Tommy Lee Jones. I mean,
Yes.
you're not wrong to say that.
It's a lot like The Fugitive.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's close to Under Siege.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say the not
in
Old
Black?
Country from New Men.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah,
Very
that
much
one.
like the character that Tommy Lee Jones is doing. Not the character, but the voice.
Yes.
And that, I mean, Tommy Lee Jones probably kind of talks like that because he does it in so many movies. I don't know if I've ever heard him.
Stop
talk outside
talking
of the
about him
movie,
because
but-
we are not jinxing him this year.
Oh no.
God, I
Oh,
love
no.
him. Even when he becomes like a cheerleader coach.
What is that?
Man of the house.
Man of
Yes.
the house. Good God.
We're doing that movie.
I hate that you like it. I hate that you knew it because that means that I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yep.
Tommy Lee Jones is a marshal or something.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
someone gets murdered, so
Yes.
he goes undercover. Yeah, no.
We can do this. If you don't want to watch it with us, we can give you a day off and we can have a guest that
Yeah,
wants
get
to
a
be on
guest.
this episode.
Get a guest on here.
Tell
dude.
us,
Fuck.
email us that you want to do.
We are going to be doing Man of the House, but not that Man of the House. I mean, we'll probably do that one eventually, but I have the other Man of the House with, is it Chevy Chase and Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Oh, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I have
that's
that on the
when
docket for Shitbird Month.
fucking what's his face did the jungle.
Jungle to Jungle.
Jungle to
Tim
Jungle.
Allen.
Yes, and then Chevy Chase did Man of the House. I think.
Yeah.
And that's,
And
Richard Dreyfuss.
Richard Dreyfuss did
Kippendorf's Tribe.
which is the most problematic of all three of those.
yes, but I actually really like.
But it gave us one good line. Bite him, Milo. Use those crooked teeth.
So now we meet the FBI. They're coming in to take hard drives or servers or something technology.
Everything.
The main FBI agent, Agent Park, is played by Will Yoon Lee, who was in like the Wolverine, and he was in
The Good Doctor as Dr. Park,
yeah, he was
Altered Carbon.
a retired cop.
show that I watched a little bit with Whitney, The Good Doctor, and yeah, he's a doctor who used to be a cop who retired, and so I was like, is this the same guy?
Is shared universe?
Shared universe. Yeah.
He's like, well, we failed the monkey mission, so I'm gonna go be a doctor.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters here is that, like, as they're going through the files, the chick, what I can't think of the actor or character name.
Malin Akerman, Claire.
Claire.
So Claire's telling the FBI, she's like, by the way, while you're looking, we did find one of our past employees.
Yep, planting
this
that
Kate,
seed.
right? Kate.
Yeah.
Kate. Like, hey, we just found out she was doing all the bad shit you find is her, not us. We're good people.
Yeah, we just discovered that. We've had all this stuff.
That's why
and
we fired her.
She was in
2
jail
years
for
ago.
13 months 2 years ago, but we just discovered it.
I actually was. I ordered an Uber to go to your headquarters to drop this stuff off. If you look at look at my phone right now. Look, it's circling. I got an Uber XL.
Yeah, it says
So much evidence to bring you.
It says that Tony will be picking me up in a Nissan Sentra.
You know what? I don't trust Tony. He looks a little bit creepy. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for another Uber. Thank you.
But yeah, they're coming in to do that, and it doesn't really come to much except for at the end, like the hard drives aren't there. That's really all it's for.
That, and it also is motivation for Jeffrey Dean Morgan because he's like, these people think they're above the law. Yeah, let me tell you, Playboy, ain't nobody above the law. Like my grandpappy always said, fuck them.
That's a better line than any line in this movie.
That's what Jack does. He pumps
I
everything
punch
up.
scripts.
So she was doing. We
Punch
find
up
out
Crips.
from Kate. Kate is talking to The Rock shortly after this that she was doing the genetic research to help endangered animals, and then to help her brother who was sick,
Dying
and
of
she
cancer.
went to jail and something. But it's the only reason I'm going to mention that because it has nothing to do with anything in this movie is because 20 minutes ago in this movie, Jack was like, oh, she had to do it to help her dying sister or something.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and he's like, oh, I said sister.
Because I said there's no, like, she did this because she had a sister dying of cancer, and the company found out and wanted to, and like she found out the company was bad and pulled out, yada yada. And I had almost everything right except for the fucking brother.
So I will say, I don't know if you guys saw it when she's first introduced 20 minutes ago. She's trying to rush out of her fucking apartment. She's lying to her boss.
It's
she's
a
like,
bungalow.
she's
I
like-
just want to say bungalow.
She's lying to her boss. She's like, yeah, I'm already on the freeway.
Yeah,
and as she's
we've
like
all done
trying
that.
to run out, her purse hits a picture frame and it puts the picture in our frame. And it's her and a bald person dying of cancer.
Oh,
in the
maybe that's
picture.
where I got the
And
sister
that's where.
thing.
So it was just like a
I
Yeah.
definitely didn't catch that.
quick shot in your face. It was in the bottom.
You
right
also didn't miss
corner.
it.
Yeah, and it was one of those. This is one of those movies where like they'll throw in something like that could be a good detail in a good movie, but at this point I've already checked out.
Yeah.
So I'm just like I don't give a shit about details. I'm waiting for monsters to smash buildings.
Yeah.
This
Me want
is
smash.
what I'm here for.
The movie's called Rampage, not Talkie Talk.
So far we've seen So far, we have seen the aftermath of like something rampaging, but we haven't seen any real. Well, the wolf did eat that team of people.
Yeah, but that's not
Yeah.
really a rampage. That's
Yeah.
just
That's
he's
just
defending
nature.
himself.
That's just nature winning.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't fight a wolf that's 3 times the size of you.
You don't fight
Yeah,
with
they said
man-made
30-foot
nature.
wolf.
Oof.
And you know what's
Now,
crazy?
is that like nose to tail 30 feet?
I would think so. Yeah.
Because that bitch was.
I could.
He
It
wasn't
is-
as
it is
tall
very
as
tall,
George,
but it's
so-
not. Yeah, he's not as tall as George. I mean, when he's standing over Joe Manganiello, like, he hunches down and stuff. But there's Joe Manganiello is a tall guy. He's not 3.5 Joe Manganiello.
The crocodile is the biggest.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So they never really talk about it because
That
the
motherfucker
crocodile
was
doesn't
like
show up until
50
the end of
feet.
the movie.
I got a theory.
But like, what I didn't even really notice until they were scaling the building at the end of the movie, because that thing is going up the side of the building, and I was like, no, that's what I'm here for. And then you see Georgia and Ralph start running up the building, and I was like, what? Are those puppets? What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, little tiny like.
Yeah.
It looks like our 2 dogs, our little tiny like baby dogs,
22
running
pound
next
dogs.
to like a fucking Beethoven.
Next to me.
Aw.
Me on all 4s running. So quick theory. The gorilla got sprayed. The coyote got sprayed. The crocodile ate it.
You're not
Oh,
wrong.
more
Also,
I'm doing some work here.
also, crocodiles get much larger anyway.
well,
and-
and crocodiles, I think we've talked about in this podcast before, do
A
not
weird
die
thing.
from natural causes.
Correct.
Or old age. Like
Correct.
they grow exponentially.
But what the fuck were his? So
Well, and it also depends on what because they do mention the and the things which you're about to say, but they mentioned for the CRISPR thing, it's like George is healing fast because of an African field mouse or something.
yes,
Yeah.
and the
Which
strength is
which
from a
only made me think
beetle.
of Dune, by the way.
Yes.
Muad'Dib. And the porcupine spines on the wolf. And the
Sugar
surprise sugar glider at the end. You know, so it's like maybe whatever
The
genetics
crocodile
went into it
definitely
were-
has
Exactly.
warthog tusks.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
It definitely has like gills of a catfish, maybe.
according to the trivia,
Actually, go on.
it
Okay,
has
let
it
me
has
put your mic
warthog
glasses.
tusks,
Uh-huh.
and it takes down an A10 warthog later in this
Oh my
movie.
god, that's the nickname of
That's
the fucking
trivia.
plane.
Trivia. Anyway,
I just came,
Oh, no, then Jerry Lewis got here.
pretty lady. Oh, with the coming.
Did you ever watch Dexter's Laboratory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever
I did
he
not
does
really.
his nerdy voice, it reminds me of like the fat nerdy guy, his nemesis that only wants to be with
No, his nemesis
sisters.
wasn't fat. His rail thin with the bowl cut.
No, who's the rich guy that's always trying to get with the fucking sisters?
Oh, now I don't remember.
I don't
Oh
know.
wait,
Dude.
not
you
not
confusing
Dexter's Laboratory.
Powerpuff.
Nope, it is not Johnny Bravo.
Johnny
the
Bravo?
the kid with the dog that talks and the twin sisters.
Jimmy Neutron.
No,
No, Mr. Peabody.
no,
I'm just throwing out cartoon names. I don't know anymore.
The dog that talks that has twin sisters?
no. The boy has twin sisters. Johnny Test.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
Okay.
Is that like Johnny Quest, but you're having trouble speaking?
Nope. It's. I want to say.
Is that
Write
like
in
Ben
if you
10?
know the show that I'm talking about, please.
Dude.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't Cartoon Network as a kid.
I'm just going to say
I was orange. I bled orange for Nickelodeon.
there's not a lot of cartoons I don't know about. And this is like nothing.
I bled orange and Gek.
Oh, God. You see a doctor about that?
No.
Johnny
What-
Test.
That you just made that.
I did not just make that.
She just made these.
I typed something into
So
AI.
this is the guy I think of every time.
I know what show that is. I don't know. My
It's
brother
called
watched
Johnny
it.
Is
Test.
she paying you to say this?
This is
No,
the
I do
guy. No,
recognize
it was
that
your
stupid
brother.
little kid.
Definitely watched this because I watched this with my daughter.
It's a mass conspiracy.
But
Everyone's
this
against
guy-
me.
Now you're in a fucking man.
His
I almost said
name-
Manganiello universe.
The-
Have you ever heard of the Manganiello effect?
his name is
If Manganiello
Bling
got
Bling.
put in jail.
It's a world where everybody just rolls dice to see what happens. The
That's
Mandela.
our
Now
life.
you live in a Mandela effect universe.
So I was a nanny when I was 19. And I
Uh-huh.
took care of a 10 and a 7-year-old, which would have been the ages that your brother was
Wait,
at
like-
the time that I was.
Like a maid also, but an assassin? Like you took care of them?
no, no,
I need you to
That's how
take
you
care of
get
my
your-
kids. Say less.
That's how you get your
no.
bonus.
I was a live-in nanny for these two beautiful children. That,
The long con.
but yeah, that's when I learned about Johnny Test.
Oh, okay.
So it was a 2001 cartoon.
I was busy having sex.
So we're We're coming into 2001. I was still in high school, so
Me too. Busy having sex.
Maybe.
You were not. Oh, you graduated that year.
Yeah.
I was like, I was out of high school. I was 19. What the fuck are you talking about?
I was 18 having legal sex. I don't know why it's a monster truck rally when I talk about sex, dude. I'm going to sell you the cock, but you're only going to need the tip.
yeah, baby.
I was either finishing being a freshman or starting being a sophomore.
I was finishing freshman. With
Then
sex.
it wasn't legal
Gross.
sex, dude.
If you were 18, if you were 18 finishing freshman, son, check your voice.
They were in college.
Hold on. All right. Anyway, so now we have basically the final act, right? The monsters are converging on Chicago. It's really like graceless how they get to this, because it's like the military is saying we need to evacuate Chicago. The Rock is they stole a helicopter. Well, there's a little scene we'll talk about real quick, but there's a point where the Rock says he's like, they're not going to do this in time, and not less than 2 minutes later, the monsters are in Chicago. I'm like, of course they weren't going to do it in time.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
where
You need
was
more
this-
than 2 minutes to evacuate
So
Chicago.
we see the military at some quarry, presumably in Illinois, and they are lighting up these fucking. Well, not all. We still don't know about. Well, we the audience know. The movie doesn't know about the crocodile yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So it
But
thinks it has
also,
these two.
I want to know where this guy is he coming up through the Mississippi? Like, how is he getting to fucking Illinois?
yeah,
in the Gulf, up
Mississippi-
the Gulf. You know how
Yeah,
Gulfs
if he's
work.
from Louisiana, the Mississippi goes all the way up that way. I don't
So
know if
he
it's
is going
Chicago
through the
per se.
Mississippi,
He's gonna
right?
have to hit some land, or she.
Yeah, like
But-
She, because
Lizzie.
it's supposed to be Lizzie.
I
right?
bring it up because this part because this. I want to talk about this general. I think he is
Colonel Blake.
Colonel.
He played Arrow on
Demetrius
Arrow.
Gross.
So
is
we
the
were
actor's name.
kind of laughing before we knew who he was, saying like he looks like Ernie Hudson.
He
and then
looks
I
like he
started to
could be,
figure
yeah.
out his character plays Ernie Hudson's character's brother in Fear the Walking Dead.
And Jack has to specify characters, because when he first said that, I was like, wait, like, because Fear the Walking Dead is the one that takes place on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
So my thought was, I'm like, wait, no, is he playing like in the show? He's supposed
Actual-
to be Ernie Hudson's brother.
Which would be such a twist. But yeah, like good casting for Ernie Hudson's brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, seriously.
He plays Errol in Justified,
Justified.
who is Bubba Gump's like right hand man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember Bubba Gump's name in the show.
Sweets or something like
Something like that.
Yeah.
He
Oh, am I
has the
thinking of
hog
his
I mean,
farm.
he's one of the coolest characters in the show, but
Yeah,
I
he's
just-
got the
I
hog
can't
farm on
remember
the
his name.
holler.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Holler?
every time you see him, he is covered in blood.
You love
it's
it.
animal blood
Or is it?
because
well,
he does like
mean-
butchering and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter if it's animal blood or not. Every time you see this dude, he's covered in blood and has a giant blade, and he's like, how can I help you today? And you're like, you know what? I'm going to go. That's how you can help me.
but this is setting up something in the movies I always hate is it's showing how ineffective every weapon is. They are doing like some sort of bombardment on these fucking
Yeah.
beasties, these
Yeah, it's that
rampagers.
Call of Duty
Even
4.
50
It's an
pounds.
airdrop. Like, yeah, you are fucking carpet bombing this shit. And then they're like, all right, send a team. Even though we have cameras with like infrared, send a team in on the ground. Those guys are dead.
Yeah.
Every
Like,
one of
how
them is
fucking
dead.
dare you?
Confirm,
Here-
confirm the enemy was not killed. Here he is.
Oh, he's looking right at me.
Oh, God, he's killing us all.
You hear one guy yell like, nothing's working.
Yeah. You do.
Like, dude, Jesus
you were
Christ.
so right.
Like, poor fucking guys. Like, but it's setting up that nothing
It
in this
sounds like
movie
me
is
trying
going
to
to
have
work.
sex after a night of whiskey.
And so-
I'm just kidding.
Oh, something's working. It's just not everything. I've been there, pal.
Your mouth works.
Anyway.
I hope my
So-
parents don't listen to this.
He is. He is. But yeah, the colonel was like, you know what? Load the MOABs.
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 Which I
Stands
found out
for
stands for
more
Mother-
of Antonio Banderas.
Mother of all bombs.
So
That's
that's
the
that's
nickname.
the common nickname. And hold on, let me look it up real quick.
It's got to be a nuke, right?
No, it's the largest
highest ordnance-
non-nuclear.
Let me say it
So
at the
it
same
stands
time.
for, so it's a GBU 43B, Massive Ordnance Air Blast.
Okay,
is
and
what
now-
Moab stands for. But The Rock even says, and it is the common vernacular for Moab, is Mother of all bombs.
Yeah, it's just one of those beautiful military things. Like, it's a Moab that must stand for Mother of all bombs. And it
Yeah.
is for non-nuclear. We're talking no fallout. A lot of collateral damage, but no
They said
was
10
where-
city blocks.
This was where
Yeah.
I learned. Well, that's what they evacuated. That doesn't. I don't know if that's what they was going to destroy. That's what they say they evacuated, but there are always people running around in the background.
Well,
so,
they even said that's not enough.
yeah.
So
but
I was going to go bigger than
I did.
that.
This was a fun piece of trivia. It's not real trivia again, but I did read it and it made me laugh. That's when they said what the bomb was called, the massive ordnance, whatever the fuck. And they said the only confirmed, or what did he say? What did I tell you? The only acknowledged, confirmed use of a Moab was against the Taliban stronghold in 2017 in Afghanistan.
But listen to those
But the
words.
thing I was reading was the only confirmed
And
acknowledged use.
Yeah.
And I was like, so what you're saying is we use these all the time.
Yeah. We don't talk about Moab.
We don't talk about
We don't
Moab.
talk about
no.
Moab. No.
I finally watched that movie, and it's still that is the best song. But
Yeah.
It really is. It should have.
that movie
It won
sucks.
for a
Encanto,
reason.
by the way, that movie's stupid. But
No,
it has some
it's-
great songs. The movie was barely a movie. Nothing happened. I like Pixar shit. I don't know if that wasn't Pixar, right? That's just
You have to
Disney.
be happy with yourself. That was the message.
Oh,
That's
I'm
great,
out.
but like it doesn't. That movie, it just didn't. I don't know. Nothing seemed to happen, but it did have some really good songs.
Well, that was
So it
Lin
sounds like a
Manuel
musical.
Miranda.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Well,
Thank
it's
you.
Disney animated.
So it sounds like a musical.
Yeah. But it had some great songs.
I could have used some musicals in this, man. After
Oh
The Rock
my
saves
fucking
somebody,
God.
what can I say except you're welcome?
That's
Yes.
exactly what I was about to say. The Rock
I need more of
doing
this.
fucking Maui songs.
I want to hear George. Like, I want to be like you.
Oh my God, I need this in my life right now.
Hey there, little
I
manco.
want to talk like you.
I wish I knew what fucking song the crocodile sang in All Dogs Go to Heaven, but I'm not that cool.
I haven't seen All Dogs Go to Heaven since I was in my single digits.
You want to cry?
No.
We'll put it on and cry.
Put on Homeward Bound.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah, that'll kill me.
Yeah, that's not fair for anybody, dude. I could watch people die. Like
Yeah,
I
all
could,
day.
I would rather
All
watch
fucking
Schindler's
day.
List.
You know, there is a website it's called Does That Dog Die?
No.
And you can look up every movie.
No, that's good before you watch-
can
before you
look up
watch
every
Marley and
movie,
Me.
and you can find out if the dog in the movie dies. And that way, if it really, really gets to you, you can be like, you know what, I'm not watching it because that dog does die. Every movie, it's kind of like the
Old
Internet
Yeller
Car
better be number
database
one.
and everything. That we've
Old
talked
Yeller
about.
is a dog movie made for it's a movie made for dog people that kills the dog. Like it's the worst thing ever.
It's so sad. Phoebe from Friends, she's like, oh, yeah, Old Yeller, he's happy. It's fine.
Oh, that's right. Her
What?
mom was
'Cause her
turning
mom
off,
never let her watch
Her mom
the
was
end.
turning off
Her grandma
movies and all the
never let
sad
her
parts.
fucking-
Oh yeah, it was her grandma. Her mom killed herself.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. But so The Rock and Caldwell, Naomie Harris are
Let's
escaping.
call her Roll. The rock and roller escaping.
They're trying to escape from the military base here, and some MPs try to stop them.
This
The
is
Rock,
this is like top 3 scenes in the movie.
it's one of the best scenes in the entire movie because it's The Rock telling these guys, and I keep saying The Rock, even though now he just goes by Dwayne Johnson.
He's
but
always the rock right
He
here.
is the Rock.
I grew up with him as The Rock.
Yes.
So
You actually watched him wrestling.
it's
You
not
smell
me
what he
being
was cooking.
disrespectful, like when I say Marky Mark.
Uh-huh.
It's me being respectful because I remember him as his greatness of The Rock.
Yes.
So
You're not calling the Brahma Bull.
I'm not calling him Rocky Johnson like he went by when he first started.
Yeah,
Or
see?
Rocky Maivia, sorry.
Ooh,
Johnson's
you
his
know
real
more
last
than I
name.
do.
Because his dad was a wrestler who was something Maivia.
Rocky
he
Road.
He took over his persona.
And when he came in, he was like he was doing the whole Samoan thing, and
With
he
the
had
afro.
like he had the hair, and he wore like flowing garbs and stuff. Well, not when he was wrestling; he just wore black underwear. But
As one does.
yeah, it was
I don't
Rocky
wear any
Maivia.
underwear with
Either
when I
way,
wrestle.
that was like right when I came into wrestling. It was about the time The Rock started. So
Did you smell what he was cooking?
I did eventually.
It was poi.
He wasn't making you smell him at the beginning. But they're trying to escape, and he's talking to these MPs. He's like, look, just let us go because I don't want to have to, I don't remember the exact line, but he's basically
he
like, I don't
does-
want to have to punch you in the fucking face, and I don't want to have to choke you out until you piss your pants.
He
Oh my
does
God,
that
this
thing where
scene
he
is the
calls
best.
out exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I don't want to make you piss your pants in front of this fucking lovely lady right here. Like, this is going to be embarrassing for you.
Yeah, and these MPs are like,
No,
that
fuck
wasn't
you.
that wasn't a question, it was an order. And so he does exactly what he said he was going to do. He takes out the one dude, and he chokes out the other guy, and he's got the great line.
Yeah, he
and He's
does.
choking this guy out, and the guy's trying to fight him. He's like, "It's a big arm, man. Don't fight it."
Big laugh from the room because I think we're starved. Like, this is the
Yes.
equivalent to being on an island with no food and somebody flicks a saltine at you. You're like, fuck yeah, dude.
We
Saltine.
needed
Yeah,
it.
this is like
dope.
when your volleyball finally shows up, and you have a friend.
It's the
now.
Wilson of jokes. I needed it. I needed it. No, it made me laugh out loud. Just hey, just a big
All
arm,
of
man.
us.
Don't fucking fight it.
Yeah,
All of
yeah.
us. All
good,
of us. were
Good
just
line.
like,
And this is where I would have asserted dominance and probably started just, I would have pulled out and started whacking it and be like, if you're going to choke me, we're going to do this.
And I want to know if that's got to
Do
be
you
like an
smell what
improv
the cock
line.
is stroking?
if
But
it's
there's no way these writers who have written nothing good wrote that line. So
I
I
think
feel like
he-
that's a Rock choking this guy out line.
I think
It's
so
an
too.
improv line.
I don't want to say he's known for his improv, but I do think you're right.
Well, I don't think he's not known for his improv per se, but like wrestling is scripted, as we all know. But like professional wrestling,
They also write their own scripts.
but the stuff they're saying when we say scripted, their speeches aren't scripted and stuff. Like
Right.
they have their characters that they're playing and they say their own shit. So he can improvise lines about kicking someone's ass.
And you did list off of more 2 handfuls of movies he had done in like congruently right before this.
Yeah.
So he's got some chops. He's got some confidence.
yeah, and I it's got to be an improv line. I don't know.
I
but-
would take that bet that it is.
So they go to try to steal a helicopter. Jeffrey Dean Morgan starts to stop them, but then he's like, "This isn't a truck stop, boy. We don't keep the fucking keys under the."
When you have a southern accent, you can't say the word boy.
That's fair.
It's just
Especially to someone
Come on,
whose last name
boy.
is Okoye.
yeah, dude, exactly.
Also, how did nobody mispronounce his name?
Okoye?
Why didn't it be like okay?
Because
These are all white people being
They
like,
didn't see
okay.
it in writing; they heard it.
you can
So
get
they-
woke or go broke.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan throws them the keys to this helicopter,
As
and
making
then
a point.
he has another line because he says he's going to help them, whatever. And then he has another line, and then he goes to throw them something, and everybody in the room thought he was throwing him
I
another
saw
set
it
of
was
keys.
a phone.
I thought that he was just going to, win in Rome. Well, penny saved is a penny earned. Well, you know what they say about how many key sets do you have? Dude, quit throwing things like
The Rock is in the fucking helicopter, like, nope, not that key. Nope, not that key.
You are making my job so much harder. Just keep throwing keys at me. Well, you know what they say about Mexicans? Nope, we're out.
You know how to fly this thing, right?
Yes,
It's like flying a bike.
The Rock does have a little bit of trouble taking off. He starts taking off. The tail end hits the ground. He's like, I'll remember. I'm remembering right now.
It's all coming back to me. It's all
Yeah,
coming back to
if
me.
you're-
It is
Dude,
kind of funny.
That's kind of a terrifying thing. If you think about being the passenger right here and just that, kaboom, whoa, what's happening? It's coming back. It's all coming back to me. It's fine.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll remember how to fly this death machine.
I hope you remember how to land.
So, are we done yet?
Then we get to Chicago, and there's the George and Ralph are there. There's the full-on military assault. Nothing takes them down, like you were saying. There was one really funny moment where Ralph is taking out some helicopters and stuff. George like fist pounds, like ground pounds this tank. It flips over. He grabs it in midair and then just hucks at another helicopter. That was a genuine laugh for me.
So
Yes,
there's
it was.
there's a couple parts like that are in this movie that if you're paying attention, because you could easily miss this part.
Yeah.
You could be watching Ralph bite the helicopter, but no, in the background is what you just said. It's like he's playing fucking tiddlywinks with a tank and then catches it in midair. And, bah! But then there's some other things later that really made me laugh that are almost background stuff.
Oh, a lot of this you have to pay attention to the background stuff right here.
You don't have to.
I mean,
in order to be
apparently,
entertained.
Easy with
apparently, according to the trivia, there was a moment where George did pull a person out of a building and eat him, which is a big Rampage thing.
Oh, we didn't
you eat
talk
people
about-
to get life and stuff like that. So.
We didn't talk about the CRISPR elephant in the room. The whatever office these two Claire and Brett. Claire and
Yeah.
Brett.
Yeah.
Right?
Claire and
I got
Brett.
names right.
Yes, you
Whatever.
did.
What are the whitest names you can think of? Yeah, that's that.
In their office was the cabinet arcade game for Rampage.
Yes, there was.
Never in focus.
No.
Just always in that background. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, you snuck it in, you sneaky sneaks.
And there was a little pet rat that Claire had.
Yeah,
that
which-
she
Yeah,
was-
which could have also been the reference to Larry. Because at the beginning, when we saw the space rat, nobody in the room could agree on what they saw. 'Cause
I
it's
saw
all
a
in the
lizard.
darkness.
I saw like some fucking spiny armadillo.
Yeah, but it would make sense if it was a rat because you're in space and you want like little lab rats.
And that was
Yeah,
what I
easy
thought
to
I saw,
transport
was
up
like
there.
A
Yes.
rat
Oh my God.
with like it did have like some
Think
kind
about-
of scales.
Shut up. You shut
No,
up. Think about
you
this.
shut up.
You think about a cockroach with this fucking CRISPR shit given
oh
to it.
God, no, fuck you.
Oh man, you just include cockroach DNA in any of them because
It
then
can't
you-
die. It
None of
just
them
can't
can die.
Unless you
When this
squish
wolf
them.
gets its head bitten off, it's like, no big deal, bro. I'm a cockroach.
Just throw me in a pile of shit. I'll be better soon.
Can we just cut that and
That
isolate
is
it?
fuel for
Throw me in a pile of shit. I'll be better soon.
New ringtone available only to patrons.
fuel. Nightmare fuel. That's all that is.
Yeah, it
Nightmare
is.
fuel.
It is. I'm sorry I
But
brought it
now
up.
the military does mention, like, hey, we have a bogey in the river. There's something big in the river. It's not a boat because it's underwater.
We don't have any submarines.
Yeah, exactly. And it's Lizzie who finally arrives here. And they don't
Which,
ever
wait a
call.
minute. Wait a minute. Isn't Chicago landlocked?
No, there's
No,
a river right down the middle.
Illinois has the Mississippi on it. Illinois divides Iowa from
All
the
right,
Mississippi.
I hope somebody
They
listening
turn
can
the river.
correct me.
They turn the river
Can you
green
just-
for St. Patrick's
Can
Day.
you just drop submarines in these rivers?
No.
No.
Okay.
So it is a dumb line.
That's why I
But
asked
there is
earlier.
water.
Is like the Gulf connected to? How else is she getting up there?
She can go on land.
She could go.
So,
on
you
land.
ride the river until you can't, and you go on land, you ride more river. I just
She
think
is just trying to get to the
a
signal.
submarine dropped in a river is probably stuck there. Well, this is where we patrol.
But also, aren't those the lakes right there? Like,
Oh, the great ones.
Yeah, there's some Great Lakes up there. I just don't know. I don't know if that's the Mississippi that goes all the way up, but like you said, it can go on land. Whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
It gets
I
there.
do know the Mississippi goes all the way up.
They never say Lizzie in this movie, but
They
that's
never
the
do.
character in the game.
That's the
so
lore.
That's what we're
It's
going
just a
with.
stupid
But she
lizard.
kind of there's like this one fat lizard that's got these giant fat cheeks, and I can't remember what it is.
Like a monitor?
Is it a monitor?
No,
I don't
monitor is
know.
what we just did in.
Oh yeah,
Stone
that's
Cold.
what
Stone
Stone Cold
Cold.
had.
It's got the
Previous
frills,
episode.
right?
Yeah, it's got the frills.
Yeah.
and it's-
Dilophosaurus.
Dilophosaurus.
So what with this alligator or crocodile? I'm not sure what it was.
Well,
I
it
was
depends.
Like, did
Is
they
it gonna
put
see you
dino
later?
DNA up in it?
Is it going to see you later, or is it going to see you in a while?
I think it's see you later.
So it's going to be
An
a
alligator.
gator. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's definitely dino DNA.
Dino DNA.
No DNA.
So warthog, gator, dino DNA.
Dilophosaurus.
Dennis Nedry sees this thing coming and he runs. He's like, "Not again!"
Nope.
Fetch, it's a stick.
But so during all this like rampant destruction, like they're just destroying the city. The Rock and Naomie Harris are in this helicopter the whole time,
Just watching.
just watching the destruction. I'm like, get to where you're going and
They're
do
staying
your thing.
at an above distance,
Because-
so they
But
can't
their
get
whole
trapped.
thing is they have the helicopter because they're trying to go get the antidote from Energyne. But this whole time they're just like, well, let's see what they're doing.
Let's
first.
see how this plays out. Bold strategy, Cotton.
Cotton.
Yeah, from was that Dodgeball?
Dodgeball.
Ah, you could.
Looks
Looks
like they're-
ESPN 8. The
Looks
Ocho.
like they're forfeiting. It's bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
So they launch a stealth fighter. The military does with the Moab on it. So now we've got a ticking clock for 30 minutes of I don't know how much time was left in this movie. Time doesn't matter in these kind of movies.
No.
It really doesn't. It took 5 minutes for that plane to. I mean,
Well, so once it opened its bays to drop the bombs, we had 10 more minutes, and that's not really how that
that's
works.
not how that
No.
happens. You only open when you're like right there.
Speaking of doing things that don't make sense, The Rock and Naomie Harris land their helicopter when they get to Energyne
Yep.
on the ground. And then he's like, where do we have to go to get the stuff? She's like, 85th floor.
Motherfucker,
Landed
land
on
It's
the
a
roof.
100 floor
Yeah.
fucking building.
Yeah, land on the roof, go 15 down.
Well,
That's just
there was-
good math.
Yeah.
We did see there was a helicopter already
Hey,
parked there.
this is The Rock. This is his second time flying a helicopter. He can do it. He can park right there.
Yes, he can.
I got faith.
It was a big helipad. You could probably fit another one. But, like, it doesn't... It's so stupid because, like, they end up getting out of the elevator. They just cut to them getting out of the elevator. I'm like, first of all, it's an emergency. You don't
Elevators
use an
aren't
elevator.
working.
You need to run up 85 floors, and I want to see The Rock after running up 85 floors. I
Also,
want to see how sweaty he is.
What's the song
Holding
that's
her.
playing in the elevator?
The girl from Ipanema. Sorry, it's a catchy song.
It's a catchy song. Sorry, we did not get that, but that's a previous episode.
Yes,
Watch
Deep
it.
Rising, previous episode. Don't watch it, listen to it.
We'll listen to it.
You can watch it too.
You watch it.
I say watch it and listen.
But they get up there, they're looking for the R19, which is the cure. Claire and Brett finally catch up to them because she sees them on the cameras. And she tells them, like, well, it's not going to make them smaller. It's not going to cure any of this stuff. It just makes them stop being so aggressive.
Oh, I do want to talk. We didn't talk about the dynamic of this.
Yeah, the serum.
Couple. No, this couple / brother sister.
Siblings.
She is. We did talk about her being cold, calculated.
Ball busting
He
in
is
charge.
supposed to be neurotic and worried, and he comes off like he just did fat rails of coke.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
I mean, he's like eating Pop-Tarts
Donuts and Pop-Tarts and coffee.
Yeah, Whitney mentioned, like, is he tweaked out? But he is sitting there eating and drinking coffee at the same time. So it's like, well, he's not going to be eating all that food. But, like, he's acting like he just did a bunch of meth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird choice.
He doesn't know what's going on. He's just been listening to his big sister this whole time.
I mean, I'd listen to her.
Yeah.
She's terrifying.
She is terrifying. So he's just like, well, this is all my sister's idea.
So she shoots the rock and takes Claire to the rooftop because she wants Claire to help with...
We all think the Rock's
Or not
dead.
Claire, sorry, Kate.
Kate.
Claire is the one who did the shooting.
We all think the Rock's dead. He's not coming back.
Yeah, the Rock's definitely not coming back. He was shot in the gut, and there's no way you can get back from that.
Oh, we all did laugh as well because the cure is in a cryo thing. Cryo meaning
Oh
really,
my
really
God.
cold. There's a special glove you have to use to grab these out. And then she just, like, as her left hand has this special glove, her right hand starts grabbing canisters. Like, that,
That's not how this works.
you defeated the whole purpose.
She's taking him out to put him
That's
in the
not how
bottom of
any
that
of this
shaving
works.
cream can.
A little bit of this one, a little Tyrannosaurus, a little Ankylosaurus, my fourth favorite dinosaur.
So the animals are scaling Energine, and this is when we see that Lizzie is
That's a sentence that came out of your
significantly Lizzie is significantly larger than the other two.
Yeah, I want to say she's
And-
like 50, 60 feet, like nose to tail.
At least, yeah, huge. There was a thing, and I forgot it until I did read it in the trivia. This is where the trivia helped me. In the game, so you eat people to gain health,
Yes.
but you eat women in a red dress, and you get more health. Malin Akerman is wearing a red dress in this scene.
Oh, shit.
So if you were a Rampage diehard, which
Oh
I'm
my
sure there
God,
are
they
some,
put it in the fucking movie.
yeah, because they get up to the roof, and there is a point where George grabs the chopper pilot who's running away from the helicopter and just hucks this dude.
This
by
is
the way.
another good
Dude,
laugh.
I had to
Oh my
mention it
God.
because this building is, like you said, 100 stories tall.
stories.
And he throws this dude, and this dude goes up 30 feet or so.
He
and
threw
out.
him to Kansas City, Missouri.
This guy is going to be out of breath from screaming.
This guy's going to be dead before he dies.
Oh, God, kill me now. I've been falling for miles. Oh, God, this is the worst.
Anxiety
it's
dog
pretty
is here
funny.
for your rescue.
But Caldwell, Katie takes the serum and puts it into Malin Akerman's purse.
Yep.
And then she has the line, "I'm feeding the monster to the gorilla." And they had called George over, and he picks her up and eats her, which is how they get the antidote into George.
So I get that it's for the game, but he hasn't eaten any human yet. He's
No.
thrown them. He's
Yeah,
smashed them.
That's where I was like, what?
It's very
Well,
out
it's
of.
because she's in a
because
red
this-
dress and needed more health.
Well,
was
well,
low.
I'm thinking
I get it.
part of him is seeing this person as a threat to his friend.
He still has a
and
little
his
bit
family,
of his, like,
He still has a little bit of
manity
him.
in
Because
him.
Rock did call for him.
Yeah,
so
he's
maybe.
like,
All right.
"George."
All right.
And then he's like, oh, this bitch is a threat. You dumb bitch. You're welcome, Heather. And
You
then
dumb
fucking
bitch.
eats it.
George is drunk on power.
And then Brett is trying to leave the building, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan catches him, and he's like, "Hey, so if I know anything about why you're running for your life, in that bag you probably have a laptop, right?" And Brett's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Give me the laptop. You can just go," because he sees shit
You can
falling outside
walk
the building.
out that fucking door.
And so Brett's like, "Yeah, whatever, man." Gives him the laptop, walks out the door, and is immediately crushed by falling debris.
Oh, he
and
gives
it's the
the
only
rat.
other.
He does give the rat to him too.
Oh yeah, and it's the
CG
only
's
other
not-
moment we see blood. It's not good blood.
It's not good blood, but Jeffrey D. Morgan's reaction is fucking
loud.
awesome.
Yeah, because
Yes.
he's just he looks at him. He's like,
Ooh.
"Damn, that was a lot."
Yep.
That's a lot.
I got a laugh from all three of us.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
So then the building is starting to collapse, and there's this helicopter that's been half crushed. The tail is bent and stuff. And so the Rock is telling Naomie Harris, "Let's get in this fucking helicopter." And she's like, "But this thing can't fly. It doesn't have a tail." He's like, "We don't have to fly. We just have to get enough lift to follow the building down."
It's
I'm
like
that
riding
is
an
not how
avalanche.
science works.
It's falling with style.
It's like riding an avalanche down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. He says that. You know what I mean?
Don't know what you mean.
I think her reaction was all of ours. Like, yeah, no, we don't get that. That's not something people normally do.
No, we are not Triple X. We don't know what.
I've not been in a single Fast and Furious movie. I don't know. But yeah, so the buildings collapse. George rises out of the rubble, and he's good now. His eyes are blue again, or whatever.
Yeah, the sedative worked.
All
Or
the
antidote.
only sign language I know very little sign language, but I definitely see George sign poop,
Yep.
Shit.
which, well, either way. Like it's taking a poop, it's taking
Yeah.
a shit. I guess it's probably context.
But he
a lot of
does-
sign language is
He
context.
goes around
but-
his face and then he does the poop symbol and
yeah, and
points
he's
at him.
like, and then The Rock is like, I look like shit. Look at you, man.
Oh, we get some really awesome pantomimes right here. This is a fun, like, I know it's a fake gorilla that he's talking to, but like the conversation between them, the first time we talk to him and this time we talk to him, we can get George's sick sense of humor.
Do you
which
know why
I'm
you like
fucking
it?
Into.
It's the only semblance of a relationship in this movie.
It is.
Of
Yeah.
course you like it. It's the only connection that they give The Rock.
Yeah.
You're right, because there is context that is taken out of this that we did not mention. The Rock hates people.
We touched on it briefly, but we
He
didn't touch on enough
fucking-
because he loathes people.
He fucking loathes people.
The nerdy guy at the beginning is like, it seems like he's like, I don't know the right word to use in this situation, but it's
Weird?
weird that you like animals more than people. And I'm sitting here going, is it?
I don't think it is. Maybe we have a small
And then he
sample
was-
size audience, but like in my life, I think people are lesser than
Well,
animals.
especially when you're a fucking like, zoologist or whatever they are. Like most of them-
Primatologist. Yeah,
most
yeah,
of
he's a
them-
primatologist.
Well, he is specifically, but like all of them, like animal doctor, animal scientist. Most of them probably like animals more than
Well,
people.
Kate talks to him at one point, and she's like, "Why do you hate people so much?" She's like, "Listen, I was Special Forces Army.
Oh, that's where we got the poacher
I-
story about
I
George's
fucking-
parents.
I had a special tax against poachers, and this is how I found George. And they were slaughtering her. They were cutting her hands off. He was hiding under the Jeep. Like,
I do like
people
she
do
asks
what
him
they-
what happened to the poachers, and he's like, "Well, they didn't get home."
no, he was like,
Oh,
they
I'll
shot at us.
tell you.
I love this.
Because I
Do
called
it.
what was going to happen. Well, they shot at us. They missed. I shot back. I didn't miss.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, I called that just about verbatim before
Yes.
he said it.
yeah.
You did.
So then we have Lizzie and Ralph versus The Rock and George.
Yes.
And this is where we see the flying squirrel wolf thing.
Of
he,
course the wolf
he
can fly.
Yeah, he gets thrown by George and then like puts out his little like wings.
His glider
And,
wings.
yeah, and that's The Rock is like, of course he can fly. Why not? Fuck it.
And then you see
Which
them.
is a trailer line.
It is a trailer line, but you also see him in his head, and he's like looking back at the gator and looking at him, looking at George, and so he's like, "Okay, here's my plan," and this is how the plan unfolds. The wolf.
I'm going to use Lizzie to take out the wolf.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nothing
He-
I can do works. The Apache helicopters haven't worked. The A-10 didn't
Nope.
work.
Yeah, he gets right under Lizzie's mouth. Ralph comes at him. And as Lizzie is trying to bite down on George, she bites down on Ralph, but she doesn't give a fuck, right? It's not like they're friends.
No.
She tears off that wolf's head and eats it.
Wolf
Yeah.
gone. Bye bye.
So I got to say, it might be the worst
We
part of an
literally-
animal to eat.
We literally just witnessed wings for the first time, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little more expensive to produce.
We have enough money for one wing shot. Okay, guys, make it a good one.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan shows up to help Naomie Harris.
Yes.
She's looking for a phone or a sat phone to call the headquarters to tell them not to drop
Yeah,
the bomb.
like
Ernie
don't
Hudson's
drop
brother.
the Moabs, dude. Don't do it.
But it is funny because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is like, he has the rat still, and he just goes up to some dude. He's like, "Hey, I'll trade you," and he hands the rat to him, and he just snatches the sat phone out of his hand. And
Wait,
the guy's
I
like,
don't know you.
What?
These army guys just see like a fucking a guy
man in black.
in a really nice black or a very tailored black suit. Like, oh, he's got to be CIA. He'll probably get me
He
fired.
looks important.
See that gun? It's nickel plated.
Lizzie is about to eat the Rock. Well, no, at one point she's attacking him, and George comes in and saves him, and then he goes to save George from her, and it's a whole back and forth thing. I think this is the point where he gets the grenade belt,
Yes.
and he
This is where-
tosses the grenades into Lizzie's
Her
gills.
gills?
Yeah. This is where like the Rock stuff starts doing damage. Not enough to like kill Lizzie or stuff.
It
but
should
like,
have though.
I don't know. Everybody's been doing like just these gunshots, these
that
rockets,
was
these and
internal.
nothing.
I mean, but those big rockets from the overhead plane, probably the A-10, right? That's
Yeah.
what does the black and
Yeah.
white. Like, if that didn't kill it, I mean, you're
or
right.
even
this
damage
is
it, or
internal,
even
but-
damage it.
Yeah.
It did damage her. And then he uses George, like he sees George, and George George gets stabbed. That's right. He gets punctured.
Lizzie throws George, and he gets impaled through his chest, but not on the heart side.
Yeah, it's the right side of his chest.
It's very sad.
like
I
the
guess.
correct
I
side.
guess.
But that's when The Rock is trying to now to save George. He jumps in this
That's how
down,
Derek's gonna
down
do my
Apache.
eulogy.
Yep.
It's very sad, I guess. I don't think Jack's here with us anymore. That's a bummer, I think.
Jack is
I mean,
happy.
what are we gonna do?
I would
with,
be smiling in my casket.
what are we gonna do with this podcast? Jack is gone.
If Jack had a heart attack, he'd be like, "Oh God, it's the time."
I'm just gonna start recording. Like I'm just gonna start recording fucking riffs about movies I'm watching, and you can just Tupac me the rest of your life.
You will be on it. We will keep using
Jack's releasing a new episode. He died a year
it.
ago.
Love it.
But The Rock jumps in this Apache and uses the guns to distract Lizzie, and then tries to shoot her with the rockets. And of course, that doesn't kill her because it didn't before that helicopter went down. And he says to her, right before he shoots the rockets, he says, "You mess with my friend, you mess with me, mother PG-13."
Mother yippee-ki-yay, mother PG-13.
Yep.
You don't even get a. He says, "Mother."
You know what I want?
Give
I
me
want
a
them to. I want them to just go full Elliot from Scrubs, mother fricker. See how tough you are when you're saying frick.
But that doesn't kill Lizzie, and then she corners the Rock, and she's about to eat him. And George comes in with the flying downward thrust with the Sword of Doom, and fucking just impales this lizard's head.
Holy shit! It's George with the fucking steel pole off the top fucking ropes.
That's all the Rock could hear when that was happening, is he could hear JR in the background like, "Somebody call Lizzie's mom."
This is my forte.
So they have a little fist bump, George and the Rock,
And then George
dies. And then 10 seconds later, George is not dead.
Nope.
Did I see you close your eyes? I just saw you open your eyes. You are fucking with me right now. He's not cursing, mind you.
Yeah.
Are you
'cause he
messing
does
with
that.
me?
He's like, "Yay, George isn't dead."
Oh.
He's got a sick, twisted sense of
Yeah,
humor.
when he tells him, "I saw you open your eye," George puts up his hand, and we get a fucking 2-story tall middle finger.
The
Yep.
largest middle finger in cinema that I know of.
And
I
happy
don't
days.
know. I hope they can see it.
And it was
I'm
funny.
doing it as hard as I can.
It was funny because while we were watching this, Jack and I the whole time were like, "Where's the next middle finger?" Like that's a joke that comes.
You
around.
Chekhov's middle fingered me, dude. It's like, if you introduce a middle finger from a giant gorilla in the first act, it better go off in the third act.
And that's when George is asking, is she part of your family? That's the symbol, because Rock does it earlier.
No, it's friends or family.
So,
There's either
but
whole
people can't
hands
hear
is
your
family.
fingers.
Whole
Okay,
hands
so it's
is
just
family.
okay.
Fingertips, just like your pointer and thumb in a circle. Is
So he didn't do the
okay.
friends one at all. He kept
Like,
doing the
he
whole
did-
hands, and he made sure to say family until this part.
This
He's
fa-
like, yeah,
it's
she's part of
troop.
my tribe, I
yeah.
guess.
My troop, yeah. And he's like, "We're friends, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point we're fine."
In any other movie, we'd be kissing right now.
Yeah.
If
And this is the one of the biggest laughs of the movie for me, because right after he says, "Yeah, she's my friend," that's when George does the fucking pantomime.
Yes, he
makes a
does.
circle with his hand and puts his finger through
Yep.
the circle. And the Rock is like,
And Kate
George!
is like, "Whoa!"
hey,
and then
guy.
as soon as Kate starts walking away, he's like, "That was funny though."
It was.
I heard that.
It was. That was probably the biggest laugh of ours. It's as funny as a pilot getting thrown into the fucking Colorado River.
Yo, that was
States
funny.
away, by the way. States away.
Yeah, he's actually still in the air.
He invented
And
three
that's the
new.
end of that.
He invented 3 new Wilhelm screams on the way down. With the experiment.
As this movie ends, though, we get the title card at the end, which is like, that's an Oscar bait movie move. That's you should have given me the title card at the beginning. Like when that title card came up,
Rampage.
yeah, I was like, the balls of you to be like Rampage
Rampage.
at the end.
Finn.
Fuck you, movie.
Now,
And I did fast forward,
I was
and there
gonna
was
say-
no stinger.
we waited for a stinger because you set it up with that mouse or rat,
Yeah.
whatever that is, that we're going to get a stinger. Jeffrey
And-
Dean Morgan has the laptop with all the research on it.
And there was 5 samples of the genetic stuff on the space station.
And only
and
3
the girl
landed?
only took 3 before she had to run. So the other 2 would still theoretically be, they can get through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for Rampage 2, Rampage Harder.
Are we waiting? Rampager. It's just a guy with a really dope beeper.
It's Karen.
Rampager. Oh, they're paging me again? I don't have your Coke.
It's just a guy driving angrily through the city
Cola.
getting paged to different locations.
Oh, I'm always late.
And
So
that's that.
yeah, so we'll go around the horn. We'll start with you, wife.
Honestly, I watched this before with my kid. It's a cute thing to watch with a kid if you don't know anything about the fucking games and you don't care about CG. It's action, it's blow up. This is Honestly, this is my second time watching it. I would watch it again just as a fuck it, put it up there.
Exact opposite. I'll never watch this again. And there's no reason you need to. There's nothing here to save it. There's 3 laughs in the movie and 1 like, oh. So no, I want nothing else to do with it.
I would call it I would not recommend it per se. I would call it a drunk for noon.
Yeah.
Like you're still drunk from the night before. If you still are one of those people who has TV and you turn on TNT or whatever and it's on, you could do worse. Because I mean, it's loud, but it's not that loud. But I'm not going to recommend it. Don't seek it out. But I did have moments of enjoyment. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, which says something because it wasn't good.
Yeah, just watch
But
with.
it's not good.
Just watch it knowing that it's a bad movie.
Like if you fall asleep and then wake up and you're like, oh look, they're killing stuff, and then you fall asleep again, you're fine.
You're fine.
I mean, no, because it's messy. The graphics aren't good.
No, the CG is very like Transformers-y, where you can't see what's happening.
And we didn't talk about it, I think, enough to tell how pissed I am at it. It's muddy. Like everything
Yeah,
in there
is.
is just blended together when they're wiping buildings and fighting each other.
Oh yeah, the smoke scene. You're like, what is fucking happening?
It's hard
here?
to tell what's going on. And when it's an individual monster, it's shiny, but it's a shiny piece of shit.
Well, let me put it this way. I'm not recommending it, but say you're flipping through channels, right? And you hit whatever channel and you're like, oh look, X-Men Dark Phoenix is on, and you keep flipping, and then you're like, oh, Rampage is on, and you keep flipping and it's just news and infomercials, and you're like, well, I guess I'm watching Rampage.
I never thought I'd say this. Turn off the TV and read a book.
Ooh, turn off the TV.
We're talking
eat
too
some
hungover to read a
shrooms,
book.
and then go walk about.
Pop in your Blu-ray of Crocodile Dundee. I know you got it.
If you're friends with us, one of you probably has it.
Oh, I got it.
So next week we will be continuing the Kaiju Marathon with our Durka Classic Movies throwback movie. It's a Kaiju movie made in the UK called Gorgo, which I have on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome.
Okay then.
Sorry, I thought of a really bad joke I can't say. I can't even say it.
I have yet to watch this movie. It came as part of my subscription to their thing, so I just haven't gotten to it yet. But
I thought you said you weren't going to make us watch movies you hadn't seen.
I said that.
He lied.
All right.
Maybe I'll watch it between now and next recording.
You guys might be welcome. You might not be.
And then don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/worstpeople. At this point, you have access to The Quick and the Dead from February. You have access to The Princess Bride from March. And this month's episode will be Godzilla from 2014, the start of the current MonsterVerse that the new movie is a part of. And I don't know how excited I am for this new movie anymore. I've been avoiding trailers, but when I went and watched a bunch of movies recently, I saw the trailer for it.
I'm on the opposite, dude. After -1 reinvigorated me. Like
But
I'm
the
hyped
trailer
for that.
the new Empire, I'm just like, so Godzilla or King Kong has like a transformer fist. Godzilla's pink.
He's got a power glove,
running
dude.
together like fucking like the girl and the Predator at the end of Alien versus Predator. Like I don't know how I feel about it. But by the time you've heard this, I've probably seen it. Scratch probably. Thank you to Evasion for providing our opening and closing music. If you want to find more stuff from us, you can go to badmoviesworstpeople.com or, like I said, patreon.com/worstpeople. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. I have been George.
Ralph.
I'm a stupid fucking lizard.
Good night and go rampage yourself. Beep, beep.
He should have had a gay fucking relationship with Oscar Isaac's character, Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
It's a relationship we all saw there, but
Yep.
Disney has no balls.
Fucking Disney.
But they both do.
Yeah. They both have
So what the
beautiful
hell, man?
balls.
As you folks know, we like to have a beer or three while we podcast, and sometimes that leads to a not so pleasant morning after, unless we remember to hydrate, people. That's where Liquid IV comes in. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, and it's now available in sugar-free with a proprietary zero sugar solution that has no artificial sweeteners. I love using Liquid IV because it comes in convenient little packets you can take with you, makes me feel rejuvenated and hydrated, and best of all, it actually tastes good. Just one packet of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than just water alone, thanks to the 8 vitamins and nutrients it has, and it has 3 times the electrolytes of those other sports drinks. We love Liquid IV so much that we're offering you, our loyal listeners, a steal of a deal. Get 20% off when you grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier, sugar-free, or any other variant at liquidiv.com and use the code WORSTPEOPLE at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code WORSTPEOPLE at liquidiv.com.